What's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I am here with a message for you. Ooh, my hands are a bit dry. I realized I didn't put any oil on just now. I have my own brand of holy oil, so to speak, but I call it bliss oil. And it's a mixture of a wonderful array of essential oils like frankincense, lavender. What else do I have in there? The base is olive oil, and I think I put a little bit of coconut in there, but it's I think it's more olive oil than anything. But it's frankincense, lavender, rosemary, a couple other things that I can't think of right now. Cedarwood, those really strong, pungent, spiritual essential oils, the ones that aren't just for like aroma and for, the ones that really, really heal. Yeah, I got all that going on for me. Maybe I'll post that if you care. I mean, it kind of is, there are a few other things in there that I didn't mention, and it may be kind of giving away some secrets for future products that maybe I shouldn't necessarily. One thing that I had to learn is, in my experience, is to hold back a little bit more, because I'll give you everything, honey, from beginning to end and back again to the beginning. But for sure, if you have access to oils such as that, the only thing that I never got my hands on to add to it was myrrh. I've never had myrrh as an essential oil, but it's definitely one that's also a heavy hitter. But frankincense in your arsenal, chef's kiss, like if you have that, they call that like the magic one, the magic essential oil, something like a super essential oil, because it has so many benefits, like beyond the aromatherapy of it all. Like, it really is so healing, even on the inside too. You can ingest it. So if you are particularly fond of essential oils, the grade of them, I don't know why I'm talking about this, mind you, it's so random. Oh, because my hands is ashy. But the grade of them does matter. Me personally, I don't just buy any old brand. There's one company particularly, I've spoken about them on previous platforms, but I don't think I've ever mentioned them here. doTERRA, DOTERRA. It's, I believe, either a Canadian or a UK, maybe UK-based company that ships all over the world, and for the most part, they're well known for the responsibility of their sourcing and the sustainability of their sources, like where they gather the elements from for their products, and everything is based in their essential oils line, from their vitamins to the actual oils, of course, that you can use topically or in the droplets to diffuse. I love their vitamins. Their 3 series pack for wellness. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but lifelong vitality or vitality pack, something like that, something with vitality in it. Amazing vitamins, like never had any better, as far as the energy that you feel and the effects that it has on your overall health and, your wellness over time, hardly ever getting sick. Infused also with those essential oils like frankincense and such, as I said, and a fish oil with it, and what was the other one? Oh, like a cell regenerator is like the 3 series of it all. But all that to say that, essential oils are kind of like crystals. Like people, it's kind of like one of those accessory type of energies as far as spirituality goes, but it can really make a major impact in your life. Again, as I said, aromatherapeutically, which matters, how your space is comforting, and inspiring to the senses, but certainly in health. And as I said, like I use the oils to infuse other oils, like my coconut oil and my olive oil and jojoba oils that I use, which, by the way, sideline, I get from ancientinfusions.com if you're interested. I think it's ancient-infusions.com, of which one of those products I incorporated in the giveaway that I did a little while ago, which they have a frankincense, shea butter, a shea butter that's infused with frankincense and myrrh, as a matter of fact, my favorite. So anyway, that's my little shopping tip for the day of spiritual products. So much of this is coming to you soon, where I won't just be talking about it, I'll be being about it, and I'll be able to point you in the proper direction or proper links below for you to shop your spiritual pleasure, because these aren't things that I just, that I just I would never be one of those content creators that would endorse things that I don't really use or like. All of my endorsements and product affiliations would be very personal, and anything that I ever speak about is very personal and intimate to me. I would never suggest anything that hasn't made a major difference or impact in my life in some way, shape, or form. So don't know what that was all about, but I will say that my tea bag today says, we all want to be understood, to be acknowledged, to be loved. Isn't that the truth? Even those that act out in the most lower vibrational frequencies, that's all they really want. To be understood, to be acknowledged, to be loved, and all that good stuff. Sometimes we just have a funny way of going about it, right? All right, so let's see what we got. Six of Swords, crossing over, moving on, some transportation into some other place and time, perhaps. I don't know why I said time. Sure, let's stick with that. I don't know. Six of Swords, 6 is balance. This is moving from some more turbulent experiences. Yeah, well, maybe that's the time expression of it, of being almost conditioned to a certain experience of life or a timeline that is a bit janky, to say the least. Or turbulent timeline to something that is more peaceful, more tranquil, more tempered, or perhaps you are moving into a space mentally where you are becoming more tempered, even if you're not physically being transported to one place or another. There's just the inflection of an elevated mind field or expansive mind field. Something's changing here. The transition may not be physical as in location, but there's just maybe perhaps a perception of your reality that is advancing in some way, shape, or form. That's good. I love that to start. Let's definitely keep it there. Ooh, okay. And then the Empress pops out. Ooh, celebration. I know that's right. Time to party. Oh, you ain't got to tell me twice. Cheers to something here. What we celebrating? The Empress. We already know what the Empress is about. That's an expression of fertility, creativity. What's that? Okay. Let's see. Let's do this. So we got the 5 of Wands. But it seems like with the three of Cups, it's almost like the Empress's maidens or something, But I also do see that sometimes as angels and ancestors being excited or in celebration for, I heard, your arrival. So maybe that's from the 6 of Swords, whatever this like maybe you have arrived, honey, as the Empress in some powerful position or expressive, creative consciousness. That's what I hear. And you're in a position to express it very directly, as the Empress would. She makes her presence, well, she don't have to make it known, it just is. When the Empress enters the room, everyone is at attention, more or less, right? So this is somebody that is moving into a place of recognition and celebration just simply for being who they are naturally. And sitting in a very highly regarded position of creative power. So you could be experiencing some level of either an upgrade or a promotion. As I said, with the Six of Swords, that there's some expansive opportunity here. But it really just could be a matter of your own self-awareness with the Empress, just knowing that you that bitch. Like masculine, feminine, no discrimination here, but I just gotta call it how it is with the Empress. Like maybe you that Mitch, I don't know if you even want to be associated with that energy, like you the man or whatever. But yeah, and it's like, and it's well celebrated. It's not like, okay, so here's the timeline shift. How, and this is the energy here. Thank you, Spirit. So the transition is such that you've probably always been that bitch. Let's just call it what it is, But the difference is you're shifting from a timeline where there was great resistance or even challenge against that position of power and authority, where you've just been being you whole time, and now is nothing any different, although you, of course, are maturing and growing, as we all are, with the intention to do so. But whereas before you were almost like scrutinized, or I just heard demonized. What else? Because that move from the turbulent waters, there's a transition from the place before where things were topsy-turvy. It was not smooth sailing. It was a fight, conflict, competition. That's what it is. Competition for this spot that just always belonged to you and would never belong to anyone else, because no one else can take your spot as you can't take anyone else's. But it's maybe perhaps moving from the space and timeline where you had to contend with people that didn't quite get that memo. Like they didn't get the memo that there was no need for competition here in this realm, not in any unhealthy way, for sure. And even in the with the Five of Wands, which more or less can stand for almost like, casual competition, like perhaps in the workplace. Okay, so there's back to the work thing where you could be getting a promotion, or the position that you're in, or maybe the position that you were being considered for was highly coveted. And so there was a great competition. Maybe people were trying to tear each other down, or there was, some type of, some type of chaos or confusion between folks that really wanted this opportunity, whereas you probably, if you have been positioned in it, officially, you probably didn't participate in this foolishness, which is why you're over here. But just the effects of it were the turbulent waters, like almost having to be at the mercy of those that wanted to compete with you when you had no desire to compete with them. There was no need for competition in your eyes. This could play itself out in a professional sense, in a personal sense, amongst friends. It could play itself out, and even with family that feels intimidated, because that's what the Empress can give. Sometimes she can be an intimidating presence. Even when she's every bit of an emblem of nurture, you know, and of support and guidance, and again, creativity, healing, even. It's like that's none of what she represents. But as I said, some people can be intimidated by that level of power, especially if they feel that there's any disparity between what you possess and what they possess. So to revert it back practically to a workplace environment, as I said, it could be people that want this high level position, or even if there is no actual position, that they want the recognition, they're fighting for a certain level of recognition that you just get naturally by just being excellent at your job, you know, just coming in on time and, you know, not taking advantage of the system and really enjoying what you're doing, like you're being celebrated and recognized in some way, shape, or form for your presence. For just your presence alone, you're getting recognized. And some people, and I feel like the crossover is that people are still feeling some type of way about it, but they're left to just, you know, fight amongst themselves in some way, shape, or form, or not. You know, hopefully they move on, as in with the Eight of Wands, where it's like, all right, now you need to move on and get yours, you know, because this ship has sailed, literally, with the Six of Swords. But as you now moving into a position, or like being elevated, or maybe even exalted in such a way that this little menial stuff, it can't even bother you anymore. It doesn't bother you emotionally or mentally. It doesn't affect you physically. It doesn't affect your performance, your prosperity. It's like nothing can affect this position of prominence that you sit in now. It's like the Empress herself, who, you know, you can't just walk up and touch the Empress, you know, like not in a kingdom such as one that's guarded with knights and, you know, and dare I say even the Emperor himself, like you off with your head if you even try, you know. And that's kind of the energy here. Like I said, I don't know if they got the memo yet, but the Eight of Swords is some power force moving ahead that if people don't get the memo, they're going to be left behind from, and they won't have the opportunity to take advantage in a productive way, or I don't like take advantage, but to benefit. There it is, to benefit from this great surge of power. It's like they're people too busy fighting amongst themselves, or still trying to prove themselves to themselves, I guess, that they miss opportunities for their own advancement. Because it's here. It's even more opportunity here with the Eight of Wands than it is with the Five. But people can't be distracted to get on board. You know, like it's like open enrollment right now. Literally, I believe so. In some ways. So I know I just got some information from my insurance that was promising that, you know, usually you gotta do all this extra stuff to re-enroll and all that, and it's already done for me, you know, like I don't even have to do anything. So yeah, like it's time to move forward. So here is the Queen of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. What's that about? So we got another creative queen. Is she working, or is she overseeing this work? And then the Page of Wands. Let me see. That's definitely an observant perspective. But this feels like somebody But see, I get pretty good vibes from this. So this is people that are watching. Okay, so now this is the Empress now at work. And this is like her delegating her creativity because now, ooh, okay, that's interesting. And okay, so how can I say this? I'm getting that this is the inflection of the Empress, but as I said, like in her creative essence, like, you know, the Empress is representative of all the queens. So this is like the power and creativity, the inspiration also with the wand energy. It's like what she's been, it's like her ideas. How can I say this? It's so interesting how I feel it. It's like she has the visions and the ideas as an Empress is just like a wealth of fertility, particularly creatively, right? And this is like finally having the support, the resources, the material, the team, the staff, the production, like it's like everything that she has ultimately held up in her vision. Like say for instance, this is someone who was up for a promotion in some way. I'm keeping it practical because it can get nutty if I allow it to go there. But this is someone who was up for a promotion, and part of the consideration process was to express her vision for this next level of position, like what changes she would make, what what things she would implement in that role. And so this was like an idea that obviously was well celebrated and well received, and kind of, squashed the competition to some degree, because it's given that there's great promise and potential to move the company forward in a big way, like accelerate the prosperity and productivity of the company. So this is her now in the position where not only is she given the resources and support, like she not only is she given the authority first, let's start there, because she's in the role now, she's given the authority to initiate these ideas, initiate these platforms, even is what I hear. Because what it feels like is that it's so multifaceted, whatever it is, that she couldn't do it all by herself, even if she wanted to. It's like she's the inventor to some degree of whatever this initiation gets to be, but it's like it's needed to have a team that will be able to implement, that she can ultimately like delegate, like, okay, this is the vision, and to put different teams or a team in place to make it happen. You know what I mean? It's like, it's her brainchild, her passion, her ambition to some degree, but it gets to be even more expansive by way of the Page of Wands, like new initiations firing off all the time, because she has the support, the manpower, the resources, the energy, the capital to just make it happen. Like the Queen of Wands just makes it happen. There's really nothing, and she don't even have to get off the throne to do it. As I'm speaking, it's like you're in a board meeting and it's like, all right, this is what we're launching next week or next month, or this is the projection for our next campaign, or whatever, whatever the ambition may be. And this is like, people just get to work making it happen, and then it takes on a life of its own, Oh man, that's exciting. That's exciting. Now, how could this be beyond just work? Because it could be, it could be the expansion of even your own personal business, where this Eight of Wands is everything, because that's saying that there's some advancement that's happening. There's an advance of energy, whether it be support, money, inspiration. You may even have figured out a new streamlined way, to do those things that you want to do, maybe not even involving actual more manpower, but just now knowing how to streamline your energy or diversify your energy in a way that would have a greater impact, that would actually get the job done. Maybe this is the energy of a smarter, not harder type of vibration, particularly with the Queen of Wands. Like, they have the ambition and the drive, and also as the head of a team, there's something about that fire energy that can really motivate their support systems, like really inspire those that are working with them to be committed or devoted to whatever the vision is. That's really important. Probably more like literally to have a team that is pleased to work with you, that's pleased to get behind, like they believe in what you're creating, so they give their best and excellence. Like certainly your team makes all the difference. And if it's not a matter of more manpower, what could it be? It could just be an elevation of passion for whatever it is that you've been doing. Like maybe some things that you kind of put on the back burner, or that you haven't been going full throttle, full speed ahead on. And now all of a sudden there's just this new, what the hell is that? There's this new surge of passion, and you're like, yes, I got it. And you figure out how to make it all work, or you figure out how to, invest all your energy into that one thing that will make all the difference. Whatever it is, this is something moving forward in a powerful way, and it's productive. And with the Eight of Pentacles, it doesn't even feel like work. That's amazing. So this boss, yes, no wonder you were the woman for the job. Because it's like, it doesn't even feel like work. People are just happy to be there, happy to be a part of doing something empowering and powerful, happy to be a part of something creative, maybe even innovative is what I hear with the Eight of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. That's some level of innovation, or something revolutionary in production that I'm seeing here. Something perhaps that's never been done before or experienced before. An invention, maybe, with the Eight of Pentacles. This is almost like a production line or some product of sorts that makes a great difference to consumers. Like almost gives them a fresh start or a new passion for life in some way. What's that about? Ooh, I like all that energy. I'm not gonna take it, but that was the I saw the Sun too, but that was the Ace of Cups. What's that? Wow, yes. Something that is going to change the world. Wowzers. What y'all working on out there? That's amazing. What? No way. All right, let me get two more on that. So we got the Ten of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the Five of Swords. See, I'm getting out of this that it's gonna bring people out of poverty, or give them an alternative. Out of poverty, out of feeling wounded and victimized. Of course, it's an alternative because of, everybody doesn't have to receive it, but it's given something here. It's like a bridge with the Ten of Cups. it feels very spiritual to me. It could be like a product or an invention, or maybe even the invention is it's an inventive idea about life, perhaps. A way of seeing themselves, okay. A way of seeing themselves and their past experiences, and how to, it's something about transmuting energy, because I don't see this as something final. I feel like this is something, pardon me, where people will have the choice to almost reclaim their happiness, but in a way that they didn't know was possible before. How can I say that better? Yeah, because this with this Page of Wands is really seeing your power in a new way. So it's more than, it's not even just as simple as like, oh man, I can't even say it how I want to say it. It's not even just as simple. We'll get into what I started with, right? Because nothing is ever a coincidence. So I started talking about essential oils, spiritual products, how like everyday practical stuff actually can have a major impact on your energetic health, not just your environmental wellness, but your energetic wellness. It's something like that here where, oh man, this is so amazing. Where it's just, oh man, sorry. Because there's something that's catching my tongue. It's probably because some part of it is probably too personal, even for myself to reveal, of an inflection right now. But just know that whatever it is that you're working on, particularly out of passion and for the purposes of making a positive impact on creation, is being highly supported in spirit and in truth. And not only is it supported, it's going to be well received. It's going to be well received, well engaged, and very impactful. Right here, it's literally going to change lives. That's what this is giving me here. Like, it's going to bring people out of despair, of feeling like they don't have enough, they're not enough, looking at their past experiences like, like it's like hopelessly, it feels like a way of transmuting energy or some support in that regard that helps people to heal from old world experiences, is what is given, of some of the pitfalls of the old world that we've all been conditioned by and been vulnerable to in some way, shape, and form. But it's some way of yeah, here it is with the competition and the chaos. It's like moving us forward beyond that. Because a lot of times I see the Five of Wands is like that energy of that old world syndrome where everybody's trying to fight for a spot, fight for resources, fight for power, fight for prestige, literally fight for a position, perhaps even in the company, you know what I mean? But this is like an energy of a brand, or it could just be your brand of excellence that you, as I've said before, that you take anywhere you go, and it makes a very positive influence on whatever, the product is or the service is. It don't even matter. Like, wherever you go, you're going to be able to impress upon that space and time a way to do something that's life-changing, that's really productive on to whomever is being served, because it may not be like a world reach or a global reach, but it's definitely giving those vibes at the highest frequency for sure. But it could just be, a global reach could be impacted from a small business, if you have the right intentions to serve your customer. in the highest frequency. You know, just changing a couple hundred people's lives makes all the difference in how they go out and then impact others. So it could be something on a smaller scale that has a greater reach than what could ever be realized, or it could be something that truly has a global reach that you don't even realize you're building up to at this time. But anyway, it's going to change lives, is the point of the matter here. Let's see. Yeah. Two of Pentacles and the Strength card. Let me get one more with the Strength. Because that's like managing power. That's what that is. So, so probably, so what I'm sensing is that probably the biggest feat you may have, because it seems like everything else is just fluid. It's just going to, because you're so enlivened with the passion to do good and whatever it is that you do, or whatever it is you're doing, or however you're committed to whatever this is, it's going to just flow. It's going to work out. Like I said, it'll almost take up a life of its own. It'll be even bigger than what you anticipated. And here's the management of that energy, but more so from the perspective of pride and ego. So it's not a caution in the sense of like, oh, watch the ego or what, but it's just like you're going to have so much man, like it would be, I mean, we're human, you know, at least some of us are, or part of us are, or, you know, to some degree. And exactly as it is here, it's like your carnal nature and your spiritual nature need to always stay in balance. That's what this is, to never allow yourself to go beyond what is prosperous pride, you know, or productive pride, so to speak. It's certainly righteous enough to be proud of your accomplishments and the impact that you're making or setting to make on the world. Let's just say, no, great or small, it's going to impact a lot of people. And I'm sensing that the thing to manage would be the ego, you know, to feel like you either got to prove something, don't get back caught in this rut, you know, like you've done too much work and, you know, move beyond. You've been exalted, or I almost said accelerated, but there's that too. So accelerated. Yeah, because things are moving fast. So that might be the caution here, is that things, like, as I was saying, are moving so fluidly that it may be almost hard for your human being to catch up with the spiritual acceleration that's happening, you know. So sometimes we can fall in pitfalls of our own just on account of trying to stay balanced, you know. So we could sometimes veer on to one side of the spectrum of the other with our carnal and spiritual selves, to either exalt ourselves beyond what is productive, you know, like even beyond others, or beyond, like almost like, you know, you're a one man or one woman show, as if you had no support, no help or guidance. Even if it wasn't in a physical form, there's at least been celestial guidance at this point in time. So I think it's just a call. I hate to say stay humble, because sometimes that energy is kind of like, like it feels like people trying to almost like stuff you into a box, like stay humble, don't get, but you should be proud of who you are. You're the Empress with the Queen of Wands energy, who is very exuberant in her, you know, expression of confidence, you know. So it's just going to come with the territory. Like you almost need to lead with confidence to really sell the spiritual matter of what you're doing. Like you can't be second guessing, like, oh no, it ain't me, you know, like, you know, people that fake humility type of vibes, like that's not going to really work for you. You kind of, and then here we have Leo energy again with the Strength, is that you do need to have a sense of confidence and courage and boldness, but it just being very well managed so that you don't destroy or tarnish or diminish what you worked for on account of putting others off. Now, those that just can't handle your confidence and courage, that old, like we said, you're moving forward. So you're not coddling those that just have a lack thereof for themselves. That's not your place or position. If people are not going to be inspired to ascend to that level of what you're inspiring, because that's what I'm feeling like that's what this is here, that it would be an inspiration for those. That's why people feel so good to work with you. Then that's their loss, and maybe this ain't the place for you type of vibes, or this isn't the friendship or the relationship, because it could work that way too, with you carrying so much high frequency of feminine energy. It would take a special partner, professionally or platonically or personally, or intimately, to really match that vibe and not try to compete with it. So you would want to be mindful not to dilute that energy force, but certainly not to not to dominate either with it. There's a healthy balance here in the Strength card, between this feminine energy and the Lion. It's like knowing when to turn it on and knowing when to turn it off. Maybe unless this is what works for you, but maybe in your relationship with your Emperor or your King of Wands or whomever, you don't need to be the lion in the boardroom as you might be Monday through Friday, or whatever it is that you work, or whatever it is that you do more creatively, where it calls for you to be more aggressive, more direct. Maybe you dial that back a little bit into more of your softer side, or more of a balanced, submissive spirit. Again, however that works for you, but there's definitely some cause for balance and management here that I'm seeing with the Two of Pentacles, which is also infinity, and the Strength card with the infinity. It's like being mindful of the balance at all times. That's probably the greatest feat that you'll have, because otherwise it seems like everything else will be working for you, like you'll have everything that you need at your fingertips, which could also veer into that no-fly zone of feeling like almost having a God complex, let's say. And we know that we are inflections of source. So that's why I'm saying, I'm not saying be humble type of vibes, because you should walk with that authority and that exuberance. But to feel like I did all this and I created all y'all and you wouldn't be nothing without me, that's the energy where it's that's where you might start depreciating your value. And as I've spoken about before, especially about corporations and business and the structure of corporate life, or however business gets to look moving forward, particularly in this new world order, is going to be very much dependent on the spiritual essence of that company, whether it is, accepted or not. That's just the matter of the fact. So people can either acknowledge that and lean into it, and submit to whatever shifts need to be made, whether it be an existing company or something that's being newly constructed, or they can run the risk of not really growing much because that key essence hasn't been engaged properly and thoroughly, dare I say, where you just can't be treating people like any old thing. You can't, as a boss or a leader in whatever regard, just in your own damn life, maybe perhaps in your own damn household, there's a certain level of integrity that you'll be held to, a certain standard of integrity that you'll be held accountable for, if you want, that will make an impression on anything that you do. So that's the sovereignty that we're moving into in that crossover moment with the Six of Swords, because it's like you have far more, as the Empress does, like more of a power range than you may have previously even given yourself credit for, or even assumed to to operate in. And not only now is it being made clear, like, yes, this is all you now. You're being given the resources to support that, but also the responsibility and accountability to maintain it, let alone to magnify it and grow it, right? Because that would be the ultimate point. And that's funny because I saw the Hermit card, but I'm not reading under the thing. But clearly the Hermit wanted to be out here. So the Hermit is mastery. And that's the ascended masters that are like governing this process, like kind of like the checks and balances, I feel, is what it is. It's like you'll never be without spiritual support and assistance as long as you are moving in integrity. You'll never have to feel like you got to do it on your own. I almost saw the Ace of Pentacles. Look at this. Like, that's exactly what I'm saying with the Hermit card. This has come up this way before, where it's always enlightenment. Look at this. With the Hermit and the Sun card, it's like you'll always have access to the highest, you can. Let's put it that way. And you know what I'm also getting to? It's like your level of access is also what is helping liberate others or give them more of a reach or accessibility to higher minded concepts and consciousness. That's what it is. That's what it is. A higher frequency of creative consciousness. That's what it is. So what you're doing is raising the frequency for the world. So despise not small beginnings, as one of the scriptures goes, because it's having more of an impact than you could ever realize, not just for your life and your legacy with the 10 of Cups, but it's stretching beyond that. It's literally helping to illuminate a path out of darkness for others that have, or at least have a willingness to follow it, that are inspired by your creativity and your courage. Not those that want to fight against it. They'll fight themselves, they'll tire themselves out until they finally get it. And that's probably what I was saying here about this Eight of Wands. It's like you're going to miss the boat if you're trying to push up against, like, fighting unnecessary battles at this point. You're going to miss an opportunity to get in on this goodness. It's like a premium investment that you could have got in on, and you was too busy being jealous or being feeling like you wanted to be the one in that spot, or you wanted to do this, or you felt like you could do it better, or whatever, whatever the things that people get caught up in. But this is breaking that chain of conditioning for those that are willing to come up out of it. That's the Six of Swords, moving ahead from this old, dark ages mentality to something far more enlightening and illuminating, because this is enlightenment from the inside out and illumination of creation and creativity. Like, the Sun card is the most productive card in the deck. Prosperous, productive, happy. You can't get nothing negative off of the Sun card. Even when it's about exposure against something darker, it's still like, well, that's what the sun does. What you want me to say? Like, shouldn't have been doing no dark shit, and then you would have been exposed, this, because that's what the sun is going to do. So it's like having, you know what I'm feeling too? It's like something about bridging the gap between the spirit world. Oh my God, this is even deeper. Like the spirit world and the natural world with this Hermit card here under the World card. That's what I just felt. Like either you being the embodiment, as I've said in previous messages, of this ascended master energy in some way, shape, or form, or just being a conduit of that creativity, of that consciousness. them being able to, because I feel like, I don't know, I don't have the evidence for this yet, of course, but I feel like the reason why we're always being called to raise our vibration and our frequencies and stuff is so that these higher level energies can commune and communicate through us into the earth, like giving us that ancient knowledge, give even ancestors, way showers, guys. It's like if you're all built up and bound up in this energy here, like competing for things that don't even need to be competed for, like really distracted energetically is the key point. You can't really be open or here in poverty and in regret and remorse or some energetic instability about the past. Like these are the energies, the densest energies that keep you from really perceiving, let alone conceiving the possibilities of happiness or spiritual fulfillment. So if you don't have it in your being to perceive it and actually, and then you can't embody it, which is the conception part, right? And it comes by way of communication, those frequencies that want to speak to us and speak through us. We look at it very mystically as like aliens and otherworldly beings, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. Nobody can truly know just yet, even though I feel like the sun is about to show us some things, like we're going to be illuminated to exactly what we're communicating with. But consider like even doing these types of exchanges for those that even believe that there's anything prosperous or productive happening here, because some people think you're talking to demons, and some people are, perhaps, but that's the frequency that you're on when that's all that can get through, which is what has been so important for us to continue to ascend and transcend our traumas so that we could be almost tuned in to a station that is highly spiritual, because there's plenty of lower frequencies that we can tap into just in the world itself. We needed to go higher, and we're always being called higher. That's the presence of this Hermit card here. And I feel like it can present itself by way of ancestors that have passed and, would want to now, you would be in line to almost inherit their wisdom, the thing, like, inherit their hindsight and what they know now beyond the veil that would be helpful and useful to us to shave that learning curve, like in the way that we're doing for our children, but from an even higher perspective, where now that they've seen beyond the veil to be able to look back, it's like, let me tell you, daughter, granddaughter, niece, nephew, whatever, some even that you ain't blood related to, that choose you to frequent because of your frequency. They want a place for that energy to be expelled, not just for the purposes of being able to live again, so to speak, which I think that's definitely a proponent of it to some degree, but also for a chance to help save us from our own damnation, to lead us and guide our paths in a way, like literally being the bridge for us to get crossover into that more favorable experience of life. Like, you don't need to do that. Don't do this. Don't be, trying to free us up from all the densities that we've been conditioned to submit to, and even recreate in many ways, like pulling those energies off us so that we can walk in a certain spirit of courage and pride and balance with our spiritual and carnal natures. Because for a lot of us, the biggest issue is not really being able to see ourselves in that balance, or in the balance of spirituality, feeling very much so like diminished of it because of what we do on the earth, i.e. with the effect that religion can have a lot of times. There's no coincidence with that impact that was implemented with grave intentions, for us to always feel a connection from our spiritual nature, and to almost feel like anything that we are communicating with beyond this realm that's not tagged as God or whatever it is you believe outer source and force may be, is something to shy away from. And what does that do but disconnect us from a wealth of intel that could actually help elevate and ascend us on, ascend our perspective to see beyond the fray, to see the path that ultimately would lead us to this spiritual satisfaction where there's nothing left to be desired. Nothing, no lack, no poverty, no sickness, really promised land energy here. So it's something about, whatever it is that you're doing in the highest frequency is helping to bridge the gap. You don't even know it, but when you're operating in an elevated energy, it attunes you to frequencies that can operate through you, and they can do more. That's what the support is. That's what all that is about. And that's why there's the energy of balance here, because in order for you to stay in that operative mode, you need to kind of stay balanced with your pride and ego, not to overextend or over exalt yourself, because that will throw you out of whack for those energies. Then you become unteachable in some ways, or unreachable to some degree as well, where those energies can't really communicate with you if you're way off the Richter scale of ego and pride, because you feel like you got it, you did all this and it's like that energy can't get through. And that's what we need. That's why it's here balanced in the middle, because as long as we're in this space with the hangman, this is not about being stuck. This is always being in submission to a higher mindset, a breakthrough, this infusion of source through us. You see the illumination behind his head being submissive. And remember I said it's like with the Empress card, I feel like that is, like I said, is masculine or feminine, because that's the energy that we're being called to embody. Where I said it's like you could be the lion in the boardroom or the lioness in the boardroom, but when you come home, maybe it's a more submissive tone, or exchange between you and your emperor, or whatever the case may be. And that can go for masculine and feminine too. You could be the lion in the boardroom, but when you come home, there's still a different level of tenderness that you can extend to your partner and to your children, and so on and so forth. That's the deference of surrender that we get to have with spirit. It's like, yes, when you're in this earth, you take dominion, you take authority over the things that you have been given power to implement, the platforms you've been given to empower, to present from, whatever they may be. Just always with the intention to give reverence to and almost to be submissive to the source that is feeding you this vitality. Not feeling less than. Remember, like not feeling like, oh, I'm just such a wretch and I don't deserve it, and why'd you choose me, Lord, type of energy. We don't need that. We don't need no more of that. Religion taught us enough about, in all types of religions, not one in particular, but we got a crash course in how to be a wretch, in the eyes of God or in the eyes of source, as if we have no true value or core value to it and it to us. It's here, this balance is what is necessary now, so that we can bridge the gap, so that we can get as much of creation into this light of creativity and this source, into this wealth of prosperity, and where there are no bad days. Pretty much that place exists. It exists in real time, in this dimension, on this timeline. It feels like a different timeline, and for many that choose to stay in a different frequency, it may actually be a disparity between experiences. But for those that have any type of any type of hope or faith for it at all is here. It literally is here. And it's like the way showers, however they present themselves to you, to me, to creation in general, are here to light the way and light the path. It can only really be done through our hands and through our physicality and tangibility, so that we can be that beacon of light for those that see us in a physical form. So it's like everybody is necessary to get to this place. And to maintain it is the spirit, this hangman energy, where you're always open to being enlightened to a new way of being, a new way of doing, and a new way of having this exuberance of life force within you and as an expression outside of you. Just as much in spirit as it is in truth. 3D, 5D, and well beyond. Wow, that is, oh yes, and I saw that Lover's card. Yes, this is it, y'all, this is it. This is the ultimate inspiration here, the ultimate power, force, creativity with the Ace of Wands. It's like, oh man, all powerful is this energy. And it will be a lot to manage. It is, let's just call it presently, it is a lot to manage, but you've been well equipped. You haven't been advanced and promoted for nothing. You've already proven to be able to handle yourself with very little. You are chosen, yes, but you are trusted to handle much. And as long as you're in submission to co-creation with source, with spirit, with the universe, with even your co-creators, in every realm of reality, you'll never have to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to feel any more overwhelmed than you choose to feel, because there will always be some support, whether it be in the angelic or ancestral realms, whether it be sources self speaking directly to you and through you, whether it be the support systems and humanity that are sent to you, whether it be your own strength and power at the times when that's necessary to be solo or independent. You'll always have more than enough to do all that needs to get done. More importantly, you'll always be, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. You'll always be more than enough, because it's all about the being. You believe in that you're powerful. You believe in that you are creative, that you're well in control of your own identity, your own life force, because that's the Empress and the Emperor. They are self-controlled, self-sustained, balanced. Then they're able to handle more beyond themselves, kingdoms and empires and such and so forth, families, businesses, whatever the case may be. But it's from the being of knowing the true source of your power and the force of your power, spirit and truth of the matter. Going back to everything I said about staying in co-creativity, but no less self-assured of how that power force, you are a conduit for that supreme power force to take residence in this world, in this realm, in a very physical way, because that's what this expression is. It's like the materialization of power. You are to receive it holistically as it is. Yeah, and don't get finessed out of it by all the ways that I've already said. This is like still that energy wanting to creep up. It always plays itself out of position with the Seven of Swords. It's no match for the Ace of Wands, period. No matter of tricks, lies, deception, distraction, destruction is a match for someone that is validated in spirit and in truth, and is self-aware and self-assured of how powerful and invaluable their power force is in this realm. You can't be tricked out of it otherwise. You could only trick yourself. And the only way you could really trick yourself is to veer into this imbalanced expression of ego and pride that, let's just call it what it is not, it's not completely impossible. It's actually quite probable, especially in old world mentalities. But this is considering that we're moving forward. We're moving forward into a place and space and a mindset that's not stuck on this need to break others down so that they can be powerful or be built up in some way or can be recognized or can hold some authority. This is a bad boss right here. That's this energy here that cares very little for their subordinates, for their partners, for their team, for their superiors even, because everybody's got a boss to some degree for something, even if it's your customers that, those that you serve that are your boss, trying to get over on your prices, trying to give less and charge more, stuff like that, and I'm saying it in a practical way in terms of business because that's kind of where we started, but it could be in any realm of reality that we're talking about here in a very practical way, that this is this energy is well disconnected from you in the position that you've exalted to. This is more projective energy that would want to infiltrate if it could. It would if you allow it, but recognizing that it's no power, it's no match for you now, and it never has to be ever again. Back to what I was saying earlier when I said like you're moving into a place where once upon a time where you came from, this would be a threat. The Seven of Swords, like, oh God, who's gonna try to knock me off my post or try to, almost try to like, either deceive you or steal your power, steal your creativity, steal your ideas, steal your inventions, whatever it is. Like you had to almost work with one hand and stay guarded with the other, with a sword in hand, almost not knowing who was coming to steal, kill, and destroy. Well, you can leave that behind, because even with the best, I should say with the fiercest intentions, is still not going to measure up to what you stand in divinely, what's already been ordained, affirmed, solidified, supported, stamped, approval stamped. It's already as long as you're maintaining that quality control of the energy that you are offering, harvesting, and just generally being in the earth, you can leave. When you cross over with that Six of Swords, you can leave that Seven of Swords standing right on the shore watching you, as the same with the Page of Swords that came up, right? All they can do is really watch you sail away into success and victory at this point. And if they don't wake up and find their own way out of this competitive nature, they may miss the boat eternally. And then they really won't be anything to worry about at that point. So as I said, like, you give grace for all, because in the beginning I said people have a strange way of getting to this point of, their desires of wanting to be understood, acknowledged, and loved. That's the core desire of us all, but it's not your responsibility to govern how people get there. You got enough to focus on as the empress of your own kingdom and endeavors yourself, and allow that shining light to be inspiring for those that want to aspire to it. Those that want to compete will ultimately be finding themselves exhausted in the end. In the beginning too at this point, but definitely in the end. So congratulations on whatever it is that is being expanded, elevated at this time, whatever inventions that you're putting into play, whatever positions you're stepping into, what more responsibility you're taking on. Maybe you're becoming a mom. That's the other thing I didn't say. Or you're getting married, or you're expanding your family legacy in some way. You're expanding your creativity in some powerful way. Just know that there is no small inspiration in this realm at this time, particularly if you have the mind to do it in the positive ways that we've been celebrating. And that's what the angels are celebrating. Your ancestors, way showers, guides, and even people that are set to be most impacted by what you have to offer. They might not even know that they about to be celebrating, but that's just a foreshadowing of exactly how powerful your presence is in this realm. So please don't take it lightly. Don't take it for granted. Don't let anyone try to trick you out of the magnificence of you by way of words or mental impressions, inflections, projections, making you even question your own courage and confidence. Like, maybe you need to tone it down. Some people may even do that by telling you need to be humble. Like, and when people tell you to be humble, don't even let it go on one ear and out the other, because to me, that's a number one inflection of someone that feels intimidated by your light and by your courage and boldness. And that is not your problem. You keep on shining, your results will speak for themselves. If you see a depreciation in value in your return, then that's when you might want to check yourself. But otherwise, let the spirit guide you on that. And you know very well when you're stepping across the line, because you can feel it. You can feel an uneasiness, again, between that spiritual and natural nature of yourself, when something just doesn't feel balanced. So you've been put in position for a great reason, because you have all the qualifications to uphold it and maintain the quality of your output. So do what you do, boo. Do what you do and be you. Don't let nobody else tell you nothing, no other identity will work better. All right. So again, congratulations, much love, respect to you, prosperity, power, protection, peace, passion over all that you endeavor. And thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.